Hey, how's it going? Ron Tippin of Widetrack here. Just wanted to talk to you about a couple thoughts I had today about original music. What I wanted to kind of stress requires that I go just for a second into an old band that I used to be in. So when I was in high school, I was about 16 years old, and I had been playing for about 4 years, 5 years maybe, and I got an opportunity to play with a pretty cool local band. They had a lot going for them, and once I joined up, we hit the ground running, and within a year we were booking the local hockey arenas, playing for like 1,000+ people. So anyway, flash forward years later, one of the guys in the band has reflected upon our time back then and basically said, hey, the reason we didn't succeed was because we were not cool during the grunge era. Our kind of music went extinct. And I wanted to address that. One of the biggest myths of the music industry is that if you are not mega successful, if you don't have what it takes to be mega successful, you're not going to be successful. That couldn't be further from the truth. Now, you take a band like we were back then, and the contention is that we just wouldn't have made it. But I think the person that made that statement was kind of looking at things in terms of all or nothing, like multi-platinum. Yeah, I don't think we would have been multi-platinum. But this is just a very narrow way of looking at things. The fact is that there are bands like, I mentioned King's X. That's a great example of a band that had not even an underground following. They had a pretty popular following. They play clubs, but they pack clubs. And they've done it year after year, decade after decade. They're successful. They have a die-hard fan base, and they can do whatever they want. They are not beholden to a record company or to the pop mainstream audience that demands that they repeat exactly what they did the album before. So in terms of bands coming out now, looking at a career in the music industry, I would like to propose to them that they maybe expand their ideas of what it is to be successful. Certainly, yes, if you're trying to become the next, the next Metallica or whatever, and get that level of success, you're probably going to have a tough time doing it. But does that mean that you just quit then? Is it not worth doing it then? I would submit that there's plenty other definitions of success. You look at a band like, as I said, like King's X or a Dream Theater or a Marillion, or there's a lot of these bands that have existed. They have complete control over their careers, and they're in a kind of a mid-level of success. That's success. They're doing that year after year, decade after decade. The person in my former band who claims that we just weren't cool enough to succeed, that's irrelevant. Whatever style of music you decide you want to play, you can succeed with it. You could have the worst music in the world and find an audience with it in this day and age. You can target and find people that will like your music. That is not the problem. What people are looking to do is the old model of, I'm going to get discovered and signed to a record label, and they're going to do everything for me, and all I got to do is play. That is the most wasteful way of looking at your music career in this day and age. Number one, the chances of that happening are you could get struck by lightning 5 times in the same spot before that happens to you. That's how unlikely it is. That's not an exaggeration. Most reputable record companies are going to want to have a tried and true, proven track record from the bands that they decide to take on, which means these bands have started a business. They've brought themselves up to a level where a record company says, hey, look at these guys, they're blowing up. So you're already committed to doing the work on your own before you even get recognized by one of these record companies. And then by the time you do, you have every reason in the world to say, I'm just going to do this on my own. Most bands that have had record labels up until the digital age, they're trying to get out of their contracts now. They know that they can do it on their own now, and they want control of their destinies in as much as possible. So I just felt that it was important to make this video to dispel this misconception of this rags to riches mentality that musicians and artists have with being discovered. It's not the way it's done. It's not the best way to go about it anymore. The best way to go about it is to do it yourself. And there's never been a time in history that the tools are more effective and easy to use and right there for you to just pick up and do it. So if you feel like your music is very much its own thing, a different thing, that is the best thing that you could have going for you as a musician, your uniqueness. The more unique you are, the more specifically you can target people to say, here's people that like, I don't know, Talking Heads, Radiohead, and Black Sabbath. I mean, that's really specific. And if that's your sound, you can find those people in this day and age. And there's no need to change your sound to appeal and to try and make it. That, to me, personally speaking, is the most horrifically awful model of creation in terms of musical artistry. That's the definition of selling out, is to not be yourself and try to appeal by way of being something that you're not. Be uncompromising in who you are. Don't apologize for it. It is your strength. It is the best thing you have going for you. If you look at all the bands that have made it on, like, longevity wise, legendary bands, they are very unique. Like, there's only one Axl Rose, there's only one Prince, there's only one Metallica. I mean, these bands, you just go down the list, they are so who they are. And that's, the essence of that is to believe in yourself and to not apologize for what you do artistically. That place that your original music comes from, that is a special, sacred place. It's a wonderful thing to be connected to, and it needs to be pure. You need to nurture that so that it can flourish. Changing that so that you can chase after this obsolete model of the record industry, it's just a tragedy to think of that happening. So I encourage you to continue on your path as an original artist, and don't worry about being swept up off your feet by a label, somebody discovering you. The best kind of careers moving forward in this day and age are the DIY, do-it-yourself careers in music. If you want to talk to me about this, correspond about this, I could go on and on about this stuff all day long, and I would love to help out, bounce ideas off me, challenge me with questions, whatever. I am here. Let me know, and I thank you for your time. Keep on rocking.